Morning viewers. So in this episode, we'll actually be changing the light bulb for the third brake lights. I've managed to get a pair of LEDs yesterday, which cost me about 45 ringgit. It's apparently a local brand, Malaysian made, and it's supposed to have 50,000 hours of lifespan. So I had problems with finding out what kind of bulb it actually uses earlier. There were no real specs that were stated in the user manual, and there were not much information on the internet either. So I bought these T15 fitting bulbs based on some overseas model, which people have been fitting this kind of bulbs to the third brake light. So I'm hoping the fitting is actually the same as the Malaysian model, but we shall find out soon. So yeah, let's get started. But first, let's move the truck away from that wall there. that's the toolbox that I borrowed from my uncle down there. This was the additional spanner that he gave me, and as you can see, it's actually very short in comparison to the one that I found in the storeroom, which first has an adjustable socket size, and of course, as you can see, the main thing is that the length is much longer. So I'm not a very fit person, and that extra bit of length actually helped me out with undoing the nuts of that seatbelt nut there. Okay, so I had to remove this board at the back, and this is what it looks like. It's held on by various clips, which you have to, shall I say, daringly yank it out. You probably won't break much, but if you don't give it enough welly, you won't actually get anything off the back of the I mean, you wouldn't get any of this board off the back of the cabin. So I'm going to see what's holding up the other side. But yeah, this is what the back board looks like. So in essence, these are the clips that holds on to, I think, all these holes at the back of the chassis or cab. So yeah, one and a half hours in, I guess, or 1 hour, I've managed to remove the seat belt, the grab handle at the top. So I've not removed the B pillar yet. I'm going to try and see if I can actually get to the component or the housing at the back there without removing the B pillar. If I do need to remove the B pillar, then yeah, it's going to be another round of battle with the seatbelt nut on the B pillar. Alright, so I've managed to remove all the 3 boards that are located at the back of the car that I need to remove. So that piece there sits behind the seat, and these 2 were where the seat belts were located. So it's the upper board that were located there. So supposedly I'm now able to lower the headliner, but as you can see, there's another issue that's just I've just realized. So I fitted a dash cam, a rear facing dash cam on my car, and now it kind of appears to be it's in the way of the headliner. So I'm going to try and see if I can work my way around that without dismantling my dash cam. So this is what the back looks like now, and yeah, you've got to remove this lower board before you can remove that board that you see that's located in the cargo bed now. So yeah, let's hope I do not need to remove the B pillar as well. Hopefully this is sufficient for me to access the rear housing, the rear of the housing of the third brake light. So yeah, I think we have spent about 1.5 hours now removing all of these. So I'd say we are quite on track with time. I've managed to get the headliner around the dash cam so I do not have to remove it. So as you can see, it's sitting there still. The other issue I've discovered now is that they've had a layer of duct tape, I guess that's what you call it. Bad luck, I've actually had to remove the B pillar as well. So thankfully the seat belts were a bit easier to come undone this time around. Grab handles are off, seat belts are off, and there's another nut that's holding this sideboard in place that's off as well. Now I might need to do the other side just to get enough access back there. One of my worst nightmares have been realized as I was undoing that grab handle on the top there. One of the nuts or the screws just dropped before I could catch it. So yeah, now I'm hunting for that missing screw. Wish me luck. Alright, I've given up on the idea of searching for that lost screw because I'm sure it's just somewhere in there. It won't run away. I just gotta spend a bit more time looking for the screw later. In the meantime, I've lowered the headliner as much as I can to give me enough access to the housing. But I have to be very careful with how I get in and out of the truck now that there's no grab handle, and this is exposed sheet metal, which is quite sharp on the edges, and also a sharp edge on this plastic trim inside. So I had to remove this gasket around the entire door sill in order to remove all these trims that are held in place on the side. Right, so let's have a closer look on the housing or the inside of it. So as you can see there, that is the nut that's holding the housing in place. And further inside there, that's where the bulb actually is located at. So I'm going to try and just remove the tape so that there's a sufficient opening for me to access the bulb, and I have it replaced. In the meantime, I found out why my truck is so noisy when it's raining heavily. So simple logic. This is basically the same piece of metal that is on the outside of the truck. So there's no sound insulation at all apart from the headliner, which isn't doing much of a job. And yeah, for those of you who are interested, this is what the inside of the headliner looks like. The other issue that I've got to address is that these clips are currently stuck onto the bodywork, which is not supposed to. It's supposed to be held on to that bracket right there so that it goes back into place later. Let me try and see if I can show you what it should look like. Yeah, there you go. That piece down there is what it should look like. So it's supposed to be held on by the trim so that I can clip this thing back into place later. Gonna have to figure out how to remove this without breaking it later. So yeah. Great, it's finally out without having to remove the entire housing. It's a bit of a struggle to get to, but eventually it's out, and this is what the bulb looks like. So I guess it is a T15 bulb. So yeah, that's the spec that you're looking for, W16W. So yeah, it should be a T15, T16 size. Okay, it's actually easily removed. Just need to gently tug it out. Oh, there you go. So yeah, that is the very obviously a fuse bulb. You can see how dark the lens is. So yep, now we're going to replace it with the LED T15 bulb. I haven't actually tested this at the shop, which I forgot to do so. So let's hope it actually is a working unit. Otherwise, I'll be pretty upset. Okay. So yeah, this is the new one. This is the old one. So yeah, size looks about right. That looks kind of similar. So yeah, let's see if it fits. Yep, there you go. So let's see if it works. There's the replacement LED. Let's put my foot on the brake. And yeah, there you go. So that is sorted. So at least we know the bulb works. It's not a wiring issue. Now I'm just going to put everything back together, or I should do that after lunch, because it's currently 1 PM and I've been on a job for about 2.5 hours to have everything removed to this state right now. So yeah, 10:30 was when I started taking off the first panel after I removed the interior light and one of the clips last week. Oh sorry, that was 3 weeks ago now. So yeah, that took me about half an hour. So yeah, all in I guess it's about 3 hours for an amateur like me to replace that light bulb and to remove all these interior trim. So an expert probably would take about 2 hours, I reckon. So I don't know what the fee going to be like, but I would imagine it's not going to be cheap, given the amount of work that they have to go through in order to replace the bulb for you. So yeah, I'm going to go and have a quick spot of lunch now, and I'll come back and reassemble the entire cabin of whatever I've just removed. But before that, I guess I should just put the light bulb back into the housing so that I do not forget before I put the headliner back in later. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.